And now to an NBC News exclusive. New data show that 92,000 voter registrations in the state of Georgia were challenged last year by voter fraud hunters.
This data was collected by the voting rights advocacy group Fair Fight Action, and it's being shared exclusively with NBC.
For more on this, we're joined by NBC News senior reporter Jane Timm. Jane, good morning. Thank you for joining us. So no secret, Georgia has been the political center of the U.S. for a while, right? We've seen Biden flipping the state blue in 2020. And then, of course, Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock really head to head. So just break down for us, what are these hunters looking for exactly?
So these voter fraud hunters are poring over the voter rolls, public records, even driving around their neighborhoods, looking for what they say are ineligible voters, which could lead to fraud. Now, let's be sure. The voter rolls in America are pretty messy. The system is designed to get voters on it, but there's no evidence that it leads to widespread fraud. But these voter fraud hunters, fueled by former President Trump's stolen election claims, are going over this, spending on their own time to try and find this and prevent the fraud, despite the fact that we have a lot of evidence it really doesn't occur. And these voter rolls, election workers actually go through them and try and clean them up on their own right. And sometimes that information they're finding just really doesn't pan out. There were people who would go to these county hearings and say, you're challenging my eligibility, but I'm an eligible voter. Here I am. I'm right in front of you. But at the end of the day, some of these voters aren't involved in this. They know they're not going to show up at a county meeting to have this conversation.
So, in the wake of those claims by Trump in 2020, then in 2021, we did see Georgia pass a pretty sweeping bill known as Senate Bill 202. So remind us what was in this bill, and what are some of the methods these fraud hunters are using to try and find fraud that, let's be clear, is basically non-existent, right?
Yeah. So it's actually in that law that created this issue. So that law was 98 pages long. There's 100 things in there that we could talk about. But 2 lines said that voters have always been able to bring these challenges for maybe the last 10 years in Georgia, but they said you can bring an unlimited number of challenges in Georgia and that they had to be heard within 10 business days. And now that unlimited number of people have really taken to heart. Some of these challenges are 15,000 voters long. I talked to one election worker who said, I've been here a long time, and the election challenge law used to be personal knowledge that you could bring to officials. She said, I challenged my in-laws when they moved to South Carolina, but 15,000 people is a really different kind of thing. There isn't personal knowledge behind that. That's public records and a sort of a group. Often they're looking at change of address databases and saying, well, these people have all moved. But people do change of addresses for a lot of reasons that may not be leaving the state. Things like being a student who forwards your mail to your college campus, or a temporary job, being a caretaker for a family member. There's lots of different reasons that you might show up in one of these challenge lists, but not actually be an ineligible voter. And advocates like Fair Fight Action say they're really worried that people are going to get letters, some of them do, saying you've been challenged. And that might be intimidating or confusing. We should say the vast majority of these challenges were unsuccessful. A lot of counties have just said there's not probable cause that these are ineligible voters. These mass searches, they're just not doing the trick for us.
But definitely an issue to watch as we creep closer and closer to 2024. Jane, thank you so much.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.